Hello and welcome back to our Let's Play of Lamplight City. My name is Darwin and I play video games. Now Lamplight City is this mishmash of detective murder mystery retro adventure game awesomeness. Scoped it out on Steam quite a while ago. It got released. I picked it up shortly thereafter. I had it sitting around on my computer, just hadn't had a chance to play, and I'm glad because we're having a really fun Let's Play here. We are on the first case, and so far what we've learned is Madame Dupre has been declared dead. Then she came back to life as she was about to be buried. Mr. Martin, I'm not sure if he's black man or half black man, but has been accused of using black magic. The accuser was Madame Dupre's son, and apparently Mr. Martin and this young lady here, Juliet Montgomery, were having a thing that set everyone in a tizzy. So we're kind of seeing the web of lies and deceptions and how everyone's kind of interconnected here and there and trying to make sense of it. So let's take a look at our casebook and see what else we know. So we are doing a premature inhumation, and let's see. We still need to question resident Dupre Manor, but Andrew Montgomery is high out of his gourd, and we need to find a stimulant to get him out of his stupor. Not sure if that's going to be some really strong coffee, or we're going to have to find some lovely old-fashioned medicine to get him out of that. We have a message to deliver to Albert Martin's mother. We need to investigate the Chesterton tomb, which we visited last episode, but this is a game that I've read has consequences depending on the choices you make, and the choices to give to the police officer, I didn't really want to do those yet, so we're doing other things first. Investigate the rented room at 76 Forest Lane, which is a room that Juliet Montgomery has. We don't know why, but we have a key there that we found in her room at the Dupre Manor, and you know, like any sensible private investigator that's snooping around, we took the key. So we're going to go check that out soon. We have found clues with Dr. Fella's testimony. Tweezers. Not sure why the tweezers are considered clues just yet. And Dr. Tennyson's vigor pills. Again, not sure why these are showing up as clues, but we'll figure it out. We have 0 suspects right now. And we found a bunch of different documents that have clued us in on other things going on. So why don't we go and check out Juliet's hidden house? What's she hiding over there? What's going on? This is in the chum. Is she growing or finding it?
Egad! Is this someone's room or a jungle?
Quite a fascinating array of plants in here, not to mention the machinery on the table.
It seems like Juliet is very interested in getting extra credit.
And our old partner Bill, who we accidentally shot during our opening case, is in our head. Don't always know he's going to pop up, so that's why I kind of stopped talking midstream there. So let's see what we have.
I wonder what sort of fertilizer or growth tonic these plants are getting. Whatever it is, it's definitely working. Those are the most vibrant flowers we've seen in a while. I bet they smell extra strong.
Yes, they certainly do.
It's a good thing you're the one with the nose. This plant makes Miles Jr. look like a single blade of grass. That's quite the book collection. It almost puts Adelaide's to shame.
All impeccably cataloged and organized as well, which makes the 2 missing volumes stand out even more.
That's quite the book. They appear to be scientific scribblings. I can't make heads nor tails of them.
That makes 2 of us.
They appear to be...
That makes 2 of...
They're just doing what flies do best. Etheric pressure. What a bunch of nonsense.
Well now, this is interesting.
Derek affects flora Larger, more vibrant flowers, chlorophyll production seemingly triples. Root system strengthen, increasing capacity to absorb nutrients. Conclusion: plants thrive from exposure to small etheric currents. Further experiments are needed to determine the long-term effects. Etheric affects fauna. Brain is clearly effective, inducing a trance-like state. That's what Madame Dupre is in. Muscle control lost, wings flap in predictable pattern. Conclusion: if animals with greater cognitive ability, including humans, are exposed to specific quantities of ethericity, they will go into a stupor, appearing unresponsive or dead. That sounds a lot like Madame Dupre.
Just a bunch of technical nonsense. I can't understand a word of it. I have no idea, nor desire, to know what purpose that thing has.
They always say not to press the red button. I'm gonna press the red button.
Oh, would you look at that?
They are definitely different.
Etheric?
Alright.
I'm guessing they're probably full of more scientific equipment or plant-related stuff. I'm guessing...
So, did Juliet or someone close to her have something to do with ethericity and her mother? The plot thickens. Alright, so we've done that. Let's go visit Albert Martin's mother.
Ah, Compton Street. We're not too far from Restaurant Row. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
One of Atwood's re-election posters, sorely lacking a mustache. Go on, Miles. Fix this grievous injustice.
Not now, Bill. There are more important things to worry about.
Spoil sport. Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though. I'm glad that Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs.
Self-driving cabs in 1844. This is a different world. Alright.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
Direction to the point.
You're Albert Martin's mother, aren't you?
Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I spoke with Albert, and he told me to give you a message. He said to tell you that St. Roch's dog is barking.
Oh, I see. That's good, that's very good. You better come in, Mr. Fordham. Standing on the street just won't do. Welcome to my home, Mr. Fordham. I am Sabine Martin. I hope you understand that Albert has nothing to do with this awful business. Would you care for some tea?
Well, her tune certainly changed when you gave her that message. I wonder what it meant.
No, thank you, ma'am. I won't be staying long.
A rather unremarkable book collection, I'm sorry to say. That statue, on the other hand, gives me the willies. For all we know, that rider is some sort of demon. He looks like he's having a good time, at least.
Looks like a cowboy.
That pattern resembles a flower. Too bad it isn't an Easter lily. Interesting. Those pots look as though they've been wrapped in tobacco leaves. The Virgin Mary. I must admit she was the last person I was expecting to see in here. It's some old man with a dog standing at the center of a crossroads. If that's meant to have any sort of significance, it's completely lost on me.
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
Do you think your son is capable of doing what he stands accused of?
Never. Albert wouldn't harm a fly.
That's what the mothers always say.
Why don't you tell me a bit more about him then?
He started working at the university laboratory a few years ago. I was so proud of him. The university is quite selective, you know. The same for its staff as well as its students.
Yes, I've gotten that impression.
I always told Albert to be careful around those high society types, but that one always thinks with his heart first.
Is she sure that's the correct body part?
He's all the family I have, Mr. Fordham.
If you'll indulge my curiosity, what exactly was the meaning of Albert's message?
Saint Roch is the patron saint of dogs, as well as the falsely accused. If he sent the message along with you, it means he trusts you, and that I should too.
Oh, I see.
Perhaps you were hoping for something more? That's just the way of mysteries, isn't it?
How do you mean?
The thrill of the unknown is always more exciting than the truth. Mystery makes life a little more interesting.
True, but if mysteries were really better unsolved, I wouldn't have a job. Do you know anything about Madame Laura Dupre?
I never met her in person, but I know plenty about her.
Like what?
Nothing fit for a polite conversation, Mr. Fordham. But I can tell you this. Laura Dupre has far more enemies than she lets on.
Does that include you or your son?
It most certainly does not.
What do you know about Juliet, Madame Dupre's daughter?
I know Albert was smitten with her, no matter that I told him to be very careful around her kind. Those rich Creole families don't care much for people like us. To them, we're just a help. But from his telling, Juliet sounded to be a decent soul. It's a shame the same can't be said for her kin.
What exactly is it you do, Mrs. Martin?
I provide services to the public.
A delightfully vague answer if there ever was one. Give me something a bit more specific, please.
I'm a Mambo Asugwe. That means I'm what you call a voodoo queen. I'd give you a detailed explanation of the responsibilities and duties of the role, but your time would be better spent clearing my son's name.
Can you tell me a bit more about your religious practices?
What I can tell you is that the ignorant whites in this city are afraid of us for no reason. Voodoo is not about black magic or dark spells or turning people into the living dead. It's about healing and life. Naturally, there are misguided souls who may try to use it for ill purposes, but I am not one of those.
Sounds like you hit a sore spot. Might be a good idea to stop pressing her on this angle.
I think I'll take you up on your offer for tea, after all.
All right, Mr. Fordham. You'll have to give me a few minutes to heat up the kettle. I'll be back shortly.
Amazing! Even more voodoo stuff back there. Why would she keep these particular items hidden from view?
Good question.
They obviously have some importance to her. I'd suggest asking, but I don't know if that's the best idea given how sensitive she seems to be about the subject.
The tea should be ready in a few minutes, Mr. Fordham. You can help yourself once it's done.
You're very kind, Mrs. Martin.
So do we ask her?
I've got a few questions for you, Mrs. Martin.
I'll try to answer them the best I can.
You only live once.
About that back room of yours.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know about this, Miles. Is this really a road you want to go down?
Actually, never mind. I misspoke. Thank you for your help.
My pleasure.
Okay, when the voice in my head is saying don't do it. Anything else we can do in here? No.
Aren't you going to have your tea, Mr. Fordham?
I'm afraid I just remembered something important I need to look into. Perhaps later.
Suit yourself.
Well, let's see if we can trick this guy.
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
Or did I miss my opportunity? So we can get in the tomb. Alright, so let's go to the coffee shop. See if we can get a stimulant there. I'm wondering too if this is the kind of game where going back and forth between people is kind of how we want to do it.
All that metal and tubing just to serve a hot cup of coffee? The specialty house brews. These are definitely not coffee.
Do anything in here?
Just one of many patrons contributing to the oppressive thug in here. Professor Xander Colt Tit III's emulsified soporific, available at all discerning pharmacies. I really don't know why you think taking that rat piss every night is a good idea, Fordham.
Alright, Constance, let's talk to you again.
Can we talk?
Go on, I'm listening.
I wanted to go over the case with you.
Okay, what have you got?
What do you know about Madame Dupre?
Only what I've read about her in the paper. She's been married thrice, which I can empathize with, and she's extremely rich, which I can't.
What makes you think this Martin fellow is innocent?
The fact that the only evidence is the word of Dupre's son. I've seen this sort of thing thousands of times, and I'm sure you did too. They're just looking for a scapegoat. You're the only person I know who can put it right.
Upton's intentions are noble, but she has to realize this is just a drop in the ocean.
I seem to have hit a roadblock. There's an officer posted at Dupre's family tomb, and he won't let me in.
Makes sense. Who's the officer?
I've never seen him before. He's young, has a small scar over his left eye, and a distinct Dixie accent.
Ah yes, that would be Officer Grant. He's only been with the department for about 2 months. I don't know a lot about him, but he's already got the reputation for being the type of policeman who'd go out of his way to help old ladies cross the street. Typical Southern gentleman, it seems. Perhaps you can use that to your advantage?
Do you believe that is one of the things that we need?
Madame Dupre's son isn't being very helpful.
Is he refusing to talk?
More like incapable. The family doctor has him pretty well drugged to the gills. I need to find some way to perk him up.
Well, you know, we are in a coffee house.
I have a feeling it will take something a touch more powerful than coffee. That's enough about the case for now.
Okay,
That's it, I think.
then you'd better get back to it.
No new action in here. So let's go back to the cemetery real quick and see if we can get into the tomb.
Good day to you, officer.
Afraid I ain't got time for idle chat, sir. Please, move along.
Nope. Distracting.
Looks like people have left markings and offerings in front of this tomb. You may think it's a silly superstition, but I wish you'd leave a bottle of Bollingworth at my grave every now and then.
Of course it wouldn't be that easy. So we need a damsel in distress, or something like that. Going out on a limb here, maybe Julie will help us.
Hello again, Miss Montgomery. Mind answering a few more questions?
Hello, Mr. Fordham. Not at all.
Do you know anything about ethericity, Miss Montgomery?
You surprised me, Mr. Fordham. I had no idea someone of your profession would know or care about something like that.
I've found that it pays to be open-minded.
To answer your question, yes, I am familiar with the theory of ethericity. In fact, it's recently become a focus of my studies. Despite what the newspapers have been reporting, it's already possible to access it in small quantities from the air around us.
Have you conducted any experiments?
No, my research has been purely theoretical. I don't have the means to do anything practical, I'm afraid.
Deceiver, dissembler, our trousers are alight. I can't understand why Juliet might not want to make her research public, though.
No
let's
more questions for
not
now.
reveal that we
Then if you don't
have been
mind,
to her
I have
apartment.
work to do.
All right. What shall we try? See if Albert can give us anything else.
Could I ask you some more questions, Mr. Martin?
It's not like I'm going anywhere.
Albert, did you hate Madame Dupre?
The woman is cruel, sadistic, and bigoted. When she found out about my relationship with Juliet, she sent me a letter threatening to have me killed if I got near her house or her daughter. So yes, Mr. Fordham, I hated her, but even so, I love her daughter. I wouldn't be so cruel as to take Juliet's mother away from her, even if she hated her too.
I beg your pardon?
Juliet and her mother didn't get along at all. I never asked why, but it was obvious there was something going on.
Intriguing.
That's all for now.
And what's a new objective? Discover the source of Juliet and her mother's rift. Okay, well that sounds like something that we can do next time. Thank you for joining us on this adventure in Lamplight City. It is certainly a lot of fun, and I highly recommend this game. If you've liked this video, please like it down below, and consider please subscribing to my channel and get notified of all my new content that's coming out. It's been fun. That's all for now. See you on the flip side.